For 11 years, Takamoto Katsuta had been doing the same thing over and over again, showing up, pushing hard, driving with everything he had, and watching the finish line arrive just a few seconds too late. And if you had asked anyone in the WRC paddock at the start of 2026 whether this quiet, hard-working Japanese driver would ever become a championship contender, most of them would have hesitated before answering. He wasn't a manufacturer's chosen prodigy, and he wasn't fast-tracked through junior categories with a legendary surname behind him. He was simply a kid from Nagakute who fell in love with rallying, moved to Europe to chase it, and spent over a decade absorbing every kind of disappointment this sport could throw at him. And there had been plenty of it. In 2024, Toyota made the painful decision to bench him for Rally Chile after a run of accidents and inconsistency put his own seat at risk. A moment that would have quietly ended most careers. And in Kenya, just 12 months before his breakthrough, he had rolled his own car on the very same stage where his dream would eventually come true, climbing out in tears, convinced the win he wanted so badly might never actually arrive. 5 times in his career, he had finished a rally in second place, close enough to taste it, far enough to feel it slip away every single time, and the most recent of those 5 heartbreaks had come just weeks before Kenya at Rally Sweden, where he once again watched someone else stand on the top step. Then the 2026 Safari Rally Kenya arrived, an event so brutal it has broken cars and crushed spirits for decades, and Katsuta's weekend started about as badly as it possibly could, a broken intercom in the opening stage leaving him without his co-driver's pace notes in torrential rain, followed by a double puncture that dropped him all the way down to 7th place before Friday had even ended. But something in him refused to fold. While faster, flashier drivers pushed too hard and paid for it, Katsuta simply kept his car on the road, stage after stage, patiently clawing his way back through the field. And when both championship contenders Oliver Solberg and Sébastien Ogier retired with alternator failures on the same road section on Saturday, the door that had stayed shut for 93 previous WRC starts suddenly swung open. He didn't need to win a single stage to do it. He simply needed to survive better than everyone around him. And in his 94th career start, Takamoto Katsuta crossed the finish line 27.4 seconds clear of the field to claim his first ever World Rally Championship victory, becoming only the second Japanese driver in history to win a round at the sport's top level since the late Kenjiro Shinozuka did it back in 1992. He couldn't even stand properly for the post-stage interview. He sat back down on the roll cage of his own car, visibly overwhelmed, and when he finally found the words, he didn't talk about talent or destiny. He talked about the people who never gave up on him. "We have had so many difficult times," he said. "Aaron has worked very hard with me and the team was always believing in me, even when I was failing all the time." He thanked his family. He thanked Toyota legend Ott Tänak, who even his rivals couldn't help but be moved by it. But rallying rarely lets anyone rest, and 4 weeks later in Croatia, fate decided Katsuta's story wasn't finished yet. Katsuta wasn't the one clawing back from disaster, he was the one quietly lurking in the shadows while championship rivals Oliver Solberg and Elfyn Evans both crashed out in the very first day. Sami Pajari lost a certain rally lead to a brutal rocks tires across the field. Neuville understeered wide at a fork in the road, tore apart the front right suspension of his Hyundai. Takamoto Katsuta, quietly, without fanfare, to claim his second consecutive World Rally Championship victory, and with it, something no one would have predicted even a season earlier. Think about the distance traveled here. 11 years of near misses, a benching that could have ended everything, tears on the same gravel road 12 months earlier. And now 2 wins in a row. Within weeks, Ogier and Evans would strike back, the momentum would shift again, and Katsuta's lead would prove to be a moment rather than a certainty. But sometimes the biggest stories in this sport aren't about the favorites finally winning what everyone expected them to win. Do you think Katsuta can fight his way back to the top of the standings before the season ends?